So I'm presenting my screen now. Is the screen visible to you? Okay, Nainika, okay. So I see very few people here. I'll be taking attendance at random, okay. Only 48, only 42, 46 are here now, excluding me. Where are the others? So once I take attendance, others I won't be changing the attendance. Okay, I will not consider the attendance. So do you remember where we stopped last class? We were discussing about two methods for comprehension. And what were the two methods? Do you remember the names of the two methods? Do you remember the names of the two methods? Anyone? Okay, SQ3R method and the other one was, okay, so the PQRST method, and these were the two methods for reading comprehension. Now we are going to the next section, that is speed reading. Okay, can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? If not visible, please unmute and answer, okay? So now what is speed reading? I think we had come across speed reading even before. So just I'm going through what it is once again. So speed reading, it is the process of rapidly recognizing and absorbing the phrases or sentences on a page. You're just going through a page and you're trying to absorb the important sentences or the important phrases all at once, just like skim reading, which go through speed reading also. But the speed at which you read depends, or it varies from person to person. So here we don't go for identifying the individual words, but if we understand the words by sight itself, we just move on to reading the important words. So average reading speed is around 250 words per minute. And the short form of the measurement of reading speed, we measure it in WPM, that is words per minute. And this words per minute, okay, it's in WPM, that is words per minute. And the speeding rate may double the rate. That is an average speed of a normal person reading at normal speed, that is 250 words per minute. But if you're going to do speed reading, this will double the rate. And most speed reading techniques, they have one thing in common, and that is called sub-vocalization. That is speed reading method, it focuses on sub-vocalization. And sub-vocalization means you're just moving through these sentences and you're not pronouncing the word correctly, but you're just murmuring and you're just producing sounds as you are reading. Most of us do it when we do speed reading. That is, we just go through the sentence but without pronouncing, or there will be sound in reading, but the sound may not clearly pronounce the words. Like you just go with some murmuring sounds. And speed reading, it doesn't focus on the correct pronunciation of the words, and so that just producing some sounds related to the words and going at a great speed through glancing through the text is called subvocalization. That is, subvocalization means avoiding pronunciation. Subvocalization means avoiding pronunciation. That is, you're not pronouncing it correctly, but you're just producing some sound related to that pronunciation. It means that you're avoiding pronunciation and hearing each word in your head. You're not trying to hear the correct word in your head as you read through, but you're just skimming lines or groups of words. Skimming means just passing through the words quickly, and that is skimming. So when you understand the word, you will not go back and read it in detail. If you understand the words, then you just skim through the sentence or the page. So this is a quick way of reading, and so we call it as speed reading. So simply going through the textbook is called, and without actually reading it aloud in correct pronunciation, you're just murmuring, and if you understand the text, you're just going in a quick form, just like skim reading, and that is known as speed reading. And usually this normal speed is 250 words, but I think I had said before that if for a person with a good reading speed, it is more, the words will be more than 1,000. So that is about speed reading. That is how much at what speed a person can read. And the speed reading often it has a common form called the sublocalization, where we avoid pronouncing the words, and also we don't care for hearing the word that we are reading aloud into our mind. We don't take it into our mind. So that is speed reading. Okay. Now, I think when I took speed reading in the last two or three class before, I think I told you, you should try to find out how much is your reading speed. Do you remember? I told you you should just set your timer for 1 minute and try to find out your speeding rate. Take a piece of text and then any textbook or your notebook and try to find out your reading speed. Did anyone do that? Did anyone do that as an exercise? I didn't tell anyone to do. Those who are interested can do, but let me see if there's anyone interested. Did anyone do that exercise? No. So just try it out so that you can improve your reading skill. Okay, all of you should try it out. There is you set the timer for 1 minute and take a piece of textbook, a textbook chapter or anything, and just read through the text to find out how many words you can read in 1 minute. And later you have to try to increase your speed, and the next day you have to read again, and maybe during with another piece of text, and then you will find that gradually every day, if you're going to read a textbook for 1 or 2 minutes and check your reading speed, then I think you can see the changes that occur in you. And if there is no change, you have to try your best to increase that speed. Okay, is it clear? These are all things which you can do by your own to improve yourself, to improve your reading ability. So if you are trying it, it will be well and good. Okay. Did you understand what I said now? Hello? Okay, Ashwin. So hope some of you will be trying it out and will be informing what your reading speed is. Okay. And after 1 week again, you can, after reading daily through the text for 1 minute. Just you have to spend just 1 minute to improve your reading skill. And after 1 week, you can see you should look at the change that is going on. Write it down. Write the number of words you have read in a notebook every day, and you can see the change. It should never go below that speed. You should always try to improve your speed. Okay. So now I'm going to the section comprehension techniques, which we had discussed in the first class itself. There were many techniques for what is the purpose of comprehension, etc. was discussed earlier. But since this is there in the textbook, I'm just going through this also. That is comprehension techniques. Comprehension techniques. What are the techniques for comprehension? And mostly we had covered all the points, but going through it once again. The first technique is monitor comprehension. That is, you have to, once you're given a comprehension, you have to just monitor the comprehension, keep track of thinking while you are reading. That is, when you're reading or listening or when you're viewing something, you should think what you are doing. Then second is, you should notice if the text makes sense or not. If there is something important in that text, or if the text is something vague, you should identify whether it is important or not. Okay, then identify what the text is about and what it makes the reader think about. So this is the most important point where which will improve your ability to think. That is, you have to identify what the text is about. If you don't know what the text is about, then there is no point in reading further. Then thinking about your thinking. That is what you're thinking. You should think about what you're thinking. Only then you can you would understand what you are going to read. So these are some of the techniques that you should do while you monitor your comprehension. So this is one technique. Whenever you read a comprehension, you should keep track of your thinking process. You should try to understand if there is anything sense, if there is any sense in the text. Then try to find out if there is any sense in the text. Then identify what the text is about. Identify what the text is about. Then think about your thinking. So that is the monitor process. The next is, the second technique is activate and connect. Activate and connect means you should connect what you are thinking to whatever knowledge you already have. So connecting, questioning, and inferring your background knowledge to what is being read is the foundation of thinking. That is, you might be having some background knowledge, and you are connecting what you are reading now to your background knowledge, and you're questioning about what is going on, what you are reading. So that is another way to improve your comprehension skill, connecting to what you already know, then questioning about those things that you don't know, or those things that is already in your mind which you are still searching for questions, and then from then inferring background knowledge. That is, you have some existing knowledge, you're connecting it to the new material that you are reading. Then next is, learners must connect the new to the known. That is what we said here also. Learners must connect the new idea, what you are reading, to the old ones. Connect new to old, and then revise thinking. That is, if you have something in your mind, and if you're reading something new now, then encountering some new ideas, then you have to revise your existing knowledge to new knowledge. So you have to activate your thinking process and connect the old knowledge which you already have to the new knowledge that you have acquired now through reading. So that is activate and connect. The next is asking question. Most important part of comprehension is asking questions. That is, questions help curious minds. Curious minds are those minds which are already asking questions to find out answers. So it helps curious minds to discover new information and gain knowledge, and to develop critical thinking. So once you ask questions, you will gain knowledge. You're trying to find out answers to your questions, and once you're trying to find out answers to your questions, you will get new knowledge. Okay, and this will improve your critical thinking. And critical thinking is nothing but thinking deep into certain matters, and we had covered critical thinking before also. Then questioning is the strategy that propels learners forward. That is, a learner can move forward only through questioning process. if you question yourself, or if you question what you're doing, then you will be able to move forward and because you will move forward to find out the solutions. So to find out answers, you move forward, and it is questioning strategy that propels learners to move forward. So now when you're reading for comprehension, ask questions on what you are reading. Then next technique is you should infer and visualize. Another thing that you should do while reading comprehension is inferences should be made. That is, inferential thinking helps readers to draw conclusion. That is, you should conclude about what you have read. You should have a conclusion after reading the passage. You should be able to conclude what the text is about, and that is called inferences. And when you think about conclusions, that thinking is called inferential thinking. And inferential thinking helps readers to draw conclusions. Also, it helps to develop interpretations. Interpretation means whatever you are given, you are trying to find out new ideas from what is given, and there is developing interpretations. Then make predictions. That is, if you're given a textbook, you're trying to find out if something is not mentioned in the text, but you are predicting that this can happen if after understanding the text. And then even you can create mental images. Mental images are those images which you create in your mind as you read through certain text. That is, if you're reading a story, you might be thinking about what is happening in the story in your imagination. So that is the mental model that we create in our mind while we are reading. And a person who's able to create good mental model will be able to understand the text well, what he's reading very well, and so he gets interested in reading. So a person who can visualize ideas can gain more knowledge. So always try to visualize while you are thinking. So inferencing and visualization is two important process that enables readers to get a deeper understanding of the text. And this inferential, this visualization is a very important ability that an engineer should have. So always when you read something, just try to visualize what you are reading. Okay, is it clear? Am I audible to you? Is there any problem? Hope you can hear me. Okay, Akash, okay. Now I'm going to take attendance. So after that, I'll be continuing, okay? Don't leave the session. I'm going to take attendance at random because in the end, I find that all are present, but in between, some are missing. So, number 1.
Present.
Now continue, number 2. Absent?
Two.
Okay.
Two.
Okay. 3.
3.
4, 5,
6.
Don't leave.
7, 8,
Okay, 7.
9,
10. Number 10. 10 absent.
10.
Number 10. Okay. 11. Number 11.
11,
Okay.
12,
13,
14,
15.
16.
17,
16 absent.
17,
17. Okay.
18.
Okay. 19. Number 19 absent. 20.
20,
Okay.
21,
Okay.
22.
Okay. Number 23. 23 absent. 24.
24.
Okay.
25.
Okay.
26.
Okay.
27.
Okay.
28.
Okay. 29.
29.
Okay.
30.
Okay.
31.
Okay.
32.
Okay.
33.
Okay.
34.
Okay. 35. Okay.
36.
Okay.
37.
Okay. 38. 38. Absent. 39. Okay. Now I find that people are joining now when I'm taking attendance. Are you giving information to others to join? So 40.
40.
41.
42.
42.
Okay. 43. Niharika present.
44.
Okay.
45.
Okay.
46.
Okay.
47.
Okay.
48.
Okay. 49. Absent. 50.
50.
49 present.
Yes.
49.
49 present.
Okay. 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 50.
50.
Okay.
51.
Okay.
52.
Okay. Okay.
53.
Okay. 54. 54. Absent.
55.
Okay.
56.
Okay.
57.
57.
57.
Okay.
58.
Okay. Okay. 57 present. 58 present.
59.
Okay.
60.
Okay.
61.
Okay.
62.
Okay.
63.
Okay. So absent is 54.
Ma'am,
Then
54%.
54. Why didn't you say earlier?
മാം നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് പ്രോബ്ലം ആണ് ക്ലാസ് കേറാൻ പറ്റിയിട്ടില്ലേനു കട്ടായി പോയി
ഇപ്പൊ എങ്ങനെ കയറി?
ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു അപ്പൊ അറ്റൻഡൻസ് സമയത്ത് കട്ടായി പോയി
നമ്പർ 54 അല്ലേ? 54 അല്ലേ?
അതെ
Then number 38 absent. Number 23 absent. 19 absent.
23%.
23 ദീപിക.
ആ
നേരത്തെ എന്താ പറഞ്ഞത്?
ചാർജ് തീർന്നു പോയി. ഇപ്പൊ കറണ്ട് വന്ന ഇപ്പൊ കേറി ക്ലാസ്സിൽ.
നേരത്തെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല?
ഇല്ല.
ഇപ്പൊ എങ്ങനെ കയറിയത്? ഈ അറ്റൻഡൻസ് എടുക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് കറണ്ട് വന്നോ?
അല്ല ഇപ്പൊ ഫോൺ ഓണായേ. കുറച്ചു മുമ്പേ ഓണായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ എന്റെ അറ്റൻഡൻസ് കഴിഞ്ഞു അപ്പത്തെ.
ദീപിക. Okay. Then number 19 absent. Number 16 absent. Okay. So let me continue now. So we were speaking about the techniques that we should follow while reading comprehension. One is last where we stopped is inference and visualization. That is, you should be able to infer what you had read. That is, you should be able to draw a conclusion about what you had read. After reading a passage, when someone asks you what you had read, you should be able to say in your words, in your own words, a small paragraph, 1 or 2 sentences about what you had read. So drawing conclusion helps you to understand the text better and answer questions related to that text. Another thing is, while you're reading, you should be able to visualize the ideas or what is being written in the text so that you can understand it well. So these are the two techniques. If you follow, you will be able to write the questions well. I'll answer the questions related to the text well. The next is determine the importance. That is, readers need to focus on important information in the text, and you should merge it with what you already know. So instead of reading the entire text, there are certain points that focuses on certain important concept related to that text. So you should understand what the important points are, and then understand the topic and relate it to what you already know. So that is determining the importance. Then next is summarize and synthesize. That is, synthesizing information. It helps you to integrate new information with existing knowledge. That is, your summarizing is just giving an overall view of what you had read, and synthesizing means you're relating whatever you have read to what you already know. So this will improve your existing knowledge. You are gathering more knowledge when you're reading new text. So whatever you have in your mind, whatever existing knowledge you have, you're revising your existing knowledge and improving your existing knowledge after reading new information. So this enables your thinking process. You're just relating something which you had read to already what you have known, what you already know, and that is a technique to improve your thinking ability. So these are the important points that we should consider while reading for comprehension, and these points we had mentioned it at the beginning of the module also. So go through those techniques also when you are writing or when you are studying whatever the techniques about comprehension. Okay, so next section we are going to focus on is understanding textbooks. Now, the most important section which students should know, when you're reading a textbook, how can you read? What are the techniques that you should follow while reading a textbook? Instead of just focusing on the notes alone, you should be able to read the textbook and understand what is written in the textbook. So when you read a textbook, you have to what are the different ways in which you can read, or what are the techniques that you can apply to understand the textbook more easily, and that is what we are focusing on in this section. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear to you? So what are we going to start now? What are we focusing on the next section? Anyone? What are we going to focus? What is the next section about? Okay, Agarsh, very good. Very good. Understanding textbook. That is when you're reading a text, very good. So when you're reading a textbook, how can you make it easy to understand when you're reading a textbook? So here we consider three main points. That is, before reading your text, while reading your text, and after reading your text. These are the important phases of reading a textbook. That is, before reading your textbook, what you should do. Then while reading, before reading, you have to consider certain points. Keep in mind certain points. Then while reading also, you should keep in mind certain points. After reading also, you should have something to do, some activities to do. So these are the three phases when you're reading the text: before reading, while reading, and after reading. So what are the three different phases when you're reading a textbook? True. Can anyone say what are the three phases which we come across while while reading a textbook? What are the three phases? Phases means the three stages that we follow. One is before reading the text. That phase is called, the one phase is before reading the text. The next phase begins when you read the text, and that is what I said, while reading the text. And after, when you have completed reading the text, the last stage begins. That is after reading the text. So in all these three phases, you have certain activities to be done. So let us see what are those activities. So before reading the text, you have two activities to do. One is preview, and second is question. So two activities before reading. What you should do is review the text and question the textbook. That is, question what, create some questions about what you are going to read. So this is before reading the textbook. Okay, so what are the two activities that you should do before reading the textbook? What are the two activities that you should do before reading the textbook? Okay, you should preview the textbook, and then second is, after previewing, certain questions will come to your mind. So you have to frame questions. Okay, very good. Very good. Preview the textbook, and second, you frame some questions. Very good. So the two activities that we do before reading is previewing and creating questions. So what are we going to do in preview? Preview means, so before reading, we just move from general to specific. That is, we are reading the whole book in general, then we go into detailed reading. Before going into detailed reading, we will have a general reading of the textbook, and that happens before reading, and that is it involves two activities. One is previewing, and another is creating questions. Now in preview, what are the steps involved in preview? What are we going to do in preview? That is, in preview, we review all the chapter headings and subheadings. Instead of reading the textbook, if there are 12 chapters in a textbook, instead of just starting from the first chapter and going on to the next, we don't know what the next chapter is about. Instead of doing that, you have to go through all the chapter headings, go through all the chapter subheadings first, and this is a form of review. So reviewing all chapter headings and subheadings, and that is one activity or one step in preview. Then next, you glance over the pictures, charts or graphs. There will be charts, pictures, etc. in the book. So you might have read storybooks. You take the storybook, and and before you start reading the storybook, you will turn over the pages and look at the pictures first. Most of us do that. We take each chapter, and we just look at the picture and try to find out what each picture means. And then the next stage is we read to find out what the meaning of the picture is. That is one, those readers who are interested, usually they do this form of reading. That is, they first glance through the pictures first in all the pages, and then finally to know what is there in the picture, we just start reading. Okay, glance over pictures, charts or graphs in the section. Likewise, when you read a technical book also, you can go through each chapter and look at each chapter, find out the pictures in each chapter, and then finally read in this stage, you read what is in bold or what is in italics. Read whatever is written in bold or italics. So because anything within a text that is written in bold or italic form, they will be important words. Any special words or any special theorems, etc., they will be written either in bold or italic words. So you should first understand that those written in italics and those bold italic words and bold font are all important words. Then finally, you haven't read the chapter yet, but you have to first read the chapter summary. I think we had said this before also. You have to read the chapter summary first. Last class, I think I said, there will be chapter summary at the end of every chapter, and in this summary you will get all the important points, and from the important points you can frame questions, and then you go back and find out answers to those questions. So instead of reading the chapter first, read the summary first, which is given at the end of each chapter, and then review the end of chapter questions. Okay, there will be certain questions at the end. You have to review that. The same process which we had run in PQRST method is repeated here also. Where anyway, PQRST is for textbook reading as well as any article reading, etc. So even for textbook reading, we can apply PQRST or SQ3R method. Okay, so this is what we do in preview. That is, you review the chapter headings and subheadings, look at the pictures, charts, and graphs, then look at the bold and italicized words, then read the chapter summary, and review the end of chapter question. There will be questions given at the end of the chapter. Go through those questions so that you will get the important questions. And when you read the questions, you will find out these questions, the words related to that question. If it is there in the text, then those are important answers. So this is one activity that we do. Next is creating questions. That is, develop a set of questions before reading the text, and it will provide, it will give you a direction on what to focus when you read the text. So we will continue in the next class. I think it is time to stop. Okay. I think your next class starts now, isn't it? Hello? You have next class now at 11:50, isn't it? Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you.